Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot and a PMDG 777 beta tester. Welcome back to the 300ER, the almighty and the most favorite of all the 777s. Today we're going to fly it from Lisbon to Dubai for about a 7-hour night flight, landing, well, some 2 hours after sunrise over in Dubai. Overall, this is going to be a lovely and promising flight, so I'm really looking forward to it. Before we start though, a quick word from today's sponsor, Say Intentions AI. If you're looking for an air traffic control add-on and one that is not only capable of doing your standard IFR A to B flight, but also things like VFR, like data link, and much more, then look no further than Say Intentions. We will be using them throughout today's flight, so if you like what you're going to see, then be sure to check them out using the link in the pinned comment and in the video description below. And with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into checking our flight plan. We can see that catering is already arriving, so things are looking great for an on-time departure today. But let's start small, and that's going to be with our flight plan. So, as you can see, the routing makes a couple of dents over here. That's kind of what you get for flying east and westbound across Europe. That's not really what the airway systems are made for. Now, significant weather we can see is clear for the first half, clear for the second half, so absolutely nothing to worry about. If we go a little bit further and have a look into the local airport weather, we can see that Lisbon is wonderful, variable winds, clear skies, 23 degrees, and Dubai, 40 degrees, clear skies. Absolutely wonderful. Our alternate in Al Maktoum is looking good as well. Our estimated time for arrival is at 0400, so everything good up here in the morning. Now, going a little bit further up in the flight plan, an on-time departure means an arrival about 10 minutes ahead of schedule, and that's already including the entire transition. Close to 300 tons takeoff weight, lots of margin to the max landing weight as well. Due to favorable winds, we will be flying rather low today, level 320 initially, then level 330, and later on 350, and that's going to be it. So, pretty nice and healthy for today's flight, since there will be a lot fewer radiation than what you would otherwise expect at higher altitudes. Now, from here on, let's scroll down a little bit and go into our fuel section. Now, the fuel into Dubai is always a little bit of a thing, especially when you arrive early in the morning, because, well, we've got a standard fuel of 68.4, but when we get into the rush hour, we might very well end up in the holding for like 20 or 30 minutes. So what we're going to do is to take that half an hour extra, just in case we get some holdings or so. So let's take 3.4 plus what it takes to take along, so 4,000 kilos on top, or to make it simple, 68.3 would be our standard. Let's make it 72 tons, and then we should be absolutely good to go. Well, and that's today's flight plan, so with that, let's get straight into our aircraft. And I have a feeling if they're already opening up the front door just to ventilate the aircraft a bit, we shouldn't let them wait for too long. So, absolutely beautiful repaint of the cabin. That's by Atarium, who else? He's just done an absolutely wonderful job, didn't he? Likewise, going up in business class, moving up to the flight deck, this is just superb. Atarium has outdone himself with the Emirates livery. I mean, it couldn't look any better, could it? Okay, so we're getting right up to the flight deck, and our colleague is already here and waiting for us. So let's take a seat and let's start working on our airplane. The first thing I'm going to do is to head into the EFB app, request our data from SimBrief, and then we can head over into the weight and balance app. Likewise, request data from SimBrief, precise loading, and we want 72 tons of fuel. Now, that's what we need down here. So as soon as they are done with the catering, and for that I will bring the door page up over here so that we can see the progress. As soon as they're done with the catering, we can start our boarding. Now, let's go ahead and get to work. So the oil quantity is looking good. Looks like they haven't refueled it after the inbound flight, but that's fine. Hydraulic quantities are good, oil quantity is good, and oxygen pressure. Let's combine that with a check straight away. Checked on the left side and checked on the right side. And that is looking wonderful. Alright, ICAS messages, let's clear them all, do the recall so that we can be sure that everything is visible, and it looks absolutely fantastic, nothing to complain about. That's the way I like it, that's how it should be. Okay, so Hateru is coming on, and then we can go right down here into the COM menu and do our ATIS request, looking for Lima Papa Papa Tango, and say intentions AI as source and send. Alright, while we're waiting for the ATIS, let's go ahead and get into the FMC. It says enough data out of date, so let's go ahead and update this. I just absolutely love the fact you can do this right in the sim. And yes, I know that I kind of keep forgetting it every now and then, but here we go. About as easy as it gets. So let's just wait until this has downloaded. Extracting, and 3, 2, 1, updated. And here we go, enough data is up to date now. So we've got a 777-300ER G90 engine, enough database is up to date. Here's our ATIS, and they have a QNH of 1019. Here we go, that's set once and set twice. Okay, so let's see, arriving and departing runway 2, and the rest is standard stuff really. I like it. So GPS position, copy and paste, then let's do the route data request, and oh god, GSX is blocking our cursor once again. So what about the catering? They are disconnecting. Very good, then let's call for boarding. So request boarding. And then let's get straight into this. So, route data, interesting. I have a feeling that when you update the IRAC, you need to re-request your data from SimBrief. Here it is, and select. Okay, so while we're waiting for that, departure charts, and we need the general airport chart down here and the parking stands. Then we're also looking for a SIDS, and we've got the Orbit 1 November departure. That's Sierra down here. Orbit 1 November, the very top one. Okay, that was too easy. So, load our route. Alright, so let's go ahead and cross-check what we've just uplinked. We're going from Lima Papa Papa Tango to Oscar Mike Delta Bravo, Emirates 194. So far, so correct. Now, for the departure, runway 2, and we have the Orbit 1 November departure, arrival, runway 30 left, and we'll do transition, and the VTAP 3 Charlie. Okay, so activate and execute. Now let's go ahead and cross-check. So, Orbit, direct ready, direct November Victor Sierra, Nando, Fenxi, Mabox, Redbar, Mopier, Laspo, and Luxor. Upper Mike 136 Alpha November Bravo, Uniform Alpha 411 Morja, direct Sonac, direct Dinox, direct Arlos, direct Saloon. November 705 Mike Mike Alpha, direct Turkey, Mike 720 Fox Yankee Mike, Mike 872 Whiskey Echo Juliet, Lima 604 Golf Alpha Sierra, Lima 306 Dara Papa 559 VTAP arrival, and that's looking very good. So let's go on to the next page and cross-check our entries. So, climbing straight ahead to MPAD above 3000, right turn Papa Tango 753 above level 70, 8-bit, and Orbit. So that's looking all correct. Is there any initial altitude on here? Yes, level 100. Nice. Okay, cool. Then we can go ahead and enter our step climbs. So November Victor Sierra, flight level 330 step. And then we're looking for Arlos. 350 step. And that's it. Alright, executing that, then we can load up our wind data. I just love it when things work, and this thing absolutely does. Alright, and load the descent forecast uplink. Here we go, ground distance 3603 versus 3608, good enough. Okay, nothing on the navrats, and we can take Lisbon for the fix info with a 25-mile ring for our MSA. Okay, cool. So VNAV, transition altitude 4000, checked against the chart, and then accept the performance uplink. Let's cross-check the data, because especially the fuel is sometimes not all that accurate. So we're looking at 6.5, well, yeah, 6.5, that's fine. Okay, flight level, well, should be 320 as initial cruise level. Cost index is okay, minimum fuel minus 44, cruise CG 30. And then noise abatement procedure, it is number 1 over here in Lisbon, so let's enter that. Well, and with that we are done with our setup, so that's going to be the performance init page over here and the route page over here. I like it. So, up here everything's set. Voice recorder is coming on, fueling is complete, so the passenger signs are coming on. Everything's set up here, and let me turn on this dome light, by the way. It's just to, you know, light it up a little bit. Okay, so checklist, pre-flight, reset, and com page, we can keep that as it is for now, but cancel that ATIS please. And then moving over here, that's set up as well. QNH 1019, auto brake RTO, park and brake set. Now let's get our frequencies. So Lisbon, delivery 18955. Set 18. Here we go. Alright, and ground will be 121755. Here we go. On the other end side, we just need 1 to 1.5. Like this, and that's it. So, unfortunately, just a single pilot, or 2 pilots, so no observer comms. Why do I say unfortunately? Well, that's of course because it's always nice if you can get some sleep during a night flight, but hey, so be it. Okay, so everything's done down here, then let's go ahead and request our departure clearance. So, Emirates 194, Lisbon to Dubai, ATIS, Juliet, okay, facility, Lima, Papa, Tango, gate, what are we at, 146. Okay, Emirates 194, facility Lisbon, from Lisbon to Dubai, ATIS Juliet, gate 146, and sent. Alright, so while we're waiting for the clearance to come in, let's go ahead and start our departure briefing. And that's for you to start. Okay, so it's going to be Lisbon, runway 02, OVAG at 1 November departure. Initial climb level 100, MSA 4000, and extra fuel and time. We got half an hour on top of the entire transition.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
Okay,
aboard
for that.
Emirates Flight 194.
So request being processed,
Departing
stand
from Lisbon
by.
and heading to
Thank
Dubai.
you.
We kindly ask you to take your
Okay,
seats according to your
hotspots for our
boarding
taxi
passes, stow your
routing.
hand luggage
When we
in
look
the
down
overhead
here,
bins or under
they
the
do
seats in
have
front
quite a
of you.
couple of them.
If you need
I have
any
absolutely no
assistance,
idea about the
please
taxi
don't
route they're going to
hesitate
give us.
contact
I would
our friendly
expect
crew
something
members.
like Alpha 5 and
Also,
then
I
uniform,
would like to mention
but
that
it
on
might
June
as well be
28th
anything
and
across
29th,
here. So as we
members
can
of the
see, lots of
Same Tensions
hotspots.
cabin crew
taxi very careful and ensure, and just ensure that we have a clear picture of where we are and where we want to go. Stop margin for the rejected takeoff shall be a couple of meters. If we need to come back, then Lisbon is our best option. We are going to be overweight, but that's not a problem. And, well, we have nothing special, nothing non-standard over here. Contact departure when advised by ATC, and that's it from my side. Do you see any threats? Nope. Okay, beautiful. So that's our briefing completed. So, clearance has just arrived, and we are cleared to Dubai. Orbit 1 November departure, runway 2. That's runway 2. Orbit 1 November. Maintain 5,000 feet. And departure on 125.13. Okay, squawk 5222. Alright, that's looking good. Accept. And clearance is accepted. Lovely. Okay, cool. So, with that done, let's do the pre-flight checklist, please. Oxygen, tested 100%. Flight instruments, heading 122, altimeter 1019, reading 340, set left, set right. And pre-flight checklist complete. Okay, so how's our boarding going? Well, about half. Looks like they have a little bit of stuff to do. In any case, we should already have the final figures, so why don't we just start working on that? And if you're on it, by the way, why are the right doors open when we are boarding? That's definitely not supposed to be. So, close, close, close. You do have the APU, so air conditioning shouldn't be a problem. Let's see. Yeah, 23 degrees everywhere. Air conditioning absolutely shouldn't be a problem. Alright, good. So, let's say that we should have our final figures. I mean, sometimes they can arrive a little bit earlier. So, weight and balance. Zero fuel weight, 233.3. And that means the gross weight is 305.3, which checks. Okay, landing weight 245.5, so that's within the limits, even though it's pretty close to it, but it's within the limits. And then let's have a look at our departure. So, performance tool, Lisbon, runway 02, and everything up here is checked. We'll take the full length. Weight 305 tons. And CG, what did we say? 27. So, weather, we've got 070 at 7 with a gust 17, temperature 23, QNH 1019. Okay, calculate. So, 51 degrees assumed temperature. 94% takeoff N1 versus 94.1, that's close enough. So, flaps 5 takeoff, CG 27, and that's 5.5 units trim, which checks, speeds 170, 178, 181. And since there's more than 1 knots different, we gotta take the speed from the OPT, 178 and 181. That's all checked. Very good. Pretty high takeoff speeds, but that's fine with me. Okay, cool. So that's done, and let's just cross-check the landing dispatch. 30 left. I mean, I know we can land on that one, but let's just import that. And surprise, we can land. Who would have thought that? 251.3 tons. Okay, good. So you can go back here. Airport chart is readily available. And with that out of the way, there are still open doors. Why? Why don't the catering vehicles just leave? So, close, close. This may be better. What we could do, in the real world, we'd have one left open as well, because there are 2 jetways over here. So let's just open that. Perhaps it accelerates the GSX boarding a bit. I mean, I don't think so, but there's some passengers coming. At least they're coming quickly. Sometimes that is often not so much the case. Let's just say it that way. That's the very nice way of saying it. And the doors are open again. Why? We literally hit close. They were closing. So, close, close. So the front is closed, and now the back is as well. The problem is, for whatever reason, GSX thinks that it can't load any of our cargo as long as the catering vehicles are still in place. Which I absolutely don't understand, because it's a 777, there is more space over here than there is at an entire CRJ, but okay. Well, at least that problem seems to be solved now. Now they are leaving. Better than nothing, I suppose. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's get straight back up here and see the status of our boarding. That's, well, 60 passengers to go, so it should hopefully be done very soon. Well, then let's just wait a little bit until everything is completed. So, they're loading the last container, and with that we should be ready to go. So let's step right back into the flight deck, say good evening to our passengers, and then we're ready to go. And the timing's actually pretty good. Scheduled off block is in just a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel. In the name of Emirates, I would like to welcome you aboard our Boeing 777 on our flight to Dubai. Today's flight time will be about 7 hours. We expect a smooth flight. Now, for the time being, sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight with us. We are just closing the doors as we've finished our cargo loading, and we will be pushing back in a matter of minutes. Thank you very much for your attention, and once again, welcome aboard. Okay, so these people are dealt with. Ground from flight deck. So please confirm all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and the bypass pin is installed. That's all confirmed. Okay, at least in theory it is. So doors... No, why are the doors reopening? GSX, what are you doing, piece of? Come on, remove those. Now GSX can't click anything anymore. But this is so incredibly annoying. That piece of software. Alright, so arm all doors, and here we go. So that's looking good. That's what we want to see. Okay, so once again, please confirm doors and hatches closed, ground equipment removed, and bypass pin is installed. That's all confirmed. Okay, perfect. So then let's call for pushback clearance. And most importantly, before start procedure. So fuel in center is showing. Then let's turn that on. Trim 5.25 units, transponder on. And before start checklist down to beacon, please. So flight deck door. Closed and locked. MCP V2 181 heading 132, altitude 5000. Takeoff speeds V1 170, VR 178, V2 181. Okay, CDU pre-flight completed. Trim 5.25 units, 0 and 0. Taxi and takeoff briefing completed. Holding at beacon. Lisbon delivery, Emirates 194 Heavy, fully ready for pushback and startup.
Emirates 194, Lisbon clearance. Contact Lisbon ground on 121.755. For
121.755, Emirates 194. Lisbon ground, Emirates 194, request pushback and startup.
Emirates 194, pushback and startup approved. Face south.
Pushback and startup approved, facing south, Emirates 194. So, ground flight deck, we're clear to push facing south, park and brake set. Release brakes, and that's going to be facing south. Brake released, starting the pushback and standing by for your signal to start the engines. God, that GSX window is blocking my click spots again. Such an annoying piece of software, really. Okay.
The cabin is ready for departure, Emmanuel.
Thank you. In any case, here we finally go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Emirates Flight 194.
Last rays of sunlight
Departing from
for our
Lisbon
departure.
and heading to Dubai. My name is Khadija, and I am your lead flight attendant for this journey. We are pleased to have you with us today. I would like to introduce our captain, Emmanuel, and our first officer, Ace. Joining me in the cabin are my
clear
fellow
to start the
crew members,
engines, and
Amina,
we'll start left and right in
Layla,
that sequence.
and Tariq.
Left engine
As we
starts.
prepare for departure, I would like to take a moment to go over some important safety information. First, please ensure that your seatbelt is fastened low and tight across your lap. To unfasten, simply lift the buckle. In the unlikely event of a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will drop down from the compartment above you. Pull the mask towards you to start the flow of oxygen. Place it over your nose and mouth and secure it with the elastic band. Remember to put your own mask on before assisting others. For those seated in overwater areas, life vests are located under your seat.
That was interesting.
To
For
use the
those
vest,
seated in
pull it
overwater
out, place it
areas?
over your head and pull the straps
Well, I
around
hope
your
that
waist.
everyone will be over the water eventually in
Inflate the
this
vest
flight.
by pulling the red tabs or by blowing into the tube. In the event of an evacuation, please leave all luggage on board and proceed to the nearest exit. There are 8 emergency exits on this Boeing
Okay, start a cutout,
777-300ER,
monitor 1,
located at the front,
1
middle,
stable,
and rear
starting
of the
right
cabin.
engine.
Please take a moment to locate the nearest exit, which may be behind you. We will be flying at an altitude of 32,000 feet and the estimated flight time is approximately 7 hours and 24 minutes. Thank you for your attention, and we wish you a pleasant flight.
So I guess that pushing us clear of the adjacent taxiway here, and then the push should be complete. Yeah, here we go. Push completed, set brakes. Brake set. Alright, so engine 2 is still starting. Let's turn off all those lights. Don't need them just yet. Okay, start a cutout, monitor 2, engine 2 stable. So if 2 good engine starts, you're clear to disconnect. Show us the pin on the left side, please, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Okay, so let's do the flight controls, except the rudder. Full up, full down, neutral. Full left, full right, neutral. I'm standing by for the rudder. Okay, there's the ramp agent, he's holding a pin, rudder. Full left, full right, neutral. Okay, so tuck, tow bar, very strange wheels, and ramp agent with the clear signal. Beautiful. Before taxi checklist. Anti-ice, auto, Recall, checked. Flight controls, checked. Ground equipment, cleared. Before taxi checklist complete. Emirates 194 Heavy, request taxi.
Emirates 194, this is the guard frequency. Please contact Lisbon ground on 121.7.
Emirates 194 Heavy, request taxi.
Emirates 194, taxi to runway 2 via Alpha 5, Whiskey 2, Whiskey 3, Quebec 3, Quebec 2, Quebec 1, Mike 2, Mike 3, Mike 4.
Taxi to runway 2 via Alpha 5, Whiskey, Quebec, Mike, Emirates 194. In the real world, they wouldn't mention all those. Anyway, so Whiskey 2, so Whiskey, Quebec, Mike. That's it, isn't it? Whiskey, Quebec, Mike. Yeah, it is. Alright, cool. So, clear on the left side, clear on the right side. Parking brake released. So, Whiskey, Quebec, Mike. Okay. So, the right side is clear. But keep the speed at 15 knots because, well, this is more or less all an apron. Lisbon is one of those very interesting, very interesting airports. So crossing the former runway, you can still see the markings over here that's been patched over. So left onto Quebec. And the cabin is ready. I like it. We're probably not gonna need weather today. Let's go into terrain on both sides here, at least while we're still close to the ground. So, to review the takeoff briefing, it's going to be a left seat takeoff, runway 02, flaps 5, noise abatement 2, speed
Attention all aircraft, Lima now, current QNH 1019er.
Okay, Lima 1019, we have that. Okay, so takeoff speeds 170, 178, 181, and that's set. The SID takes us straight out, right hand turn. There is that 3000 above restriction, so we're flying noise abatement procedure number 1. Emergency straight at 25 miles, climbing 4000, and then we can come back, or well, probably come back. I mean, Porto is available if for whatever reason Lisbon is not, but I don't think we're going to need it. Alright. And that's our briefing. Do we have any questions? Doesn't sound like it. I like that. So the left side is clear, the right side is clear. So joining Mike. Before takeoff checklist. Before takeoff checklist complete. Good. So, do we have a tower frequency here that we could pre-select? Yeah, 18105. Alright, so we are ready for departure. He should probably call us any moment. Okay.
Emirates 1904, contact tower on 118.105. Have a good evening.
118.105, Emirates 1904. Lisbon Tower, Emirates 1904 Heavy, ready for departure.
Emirates 1904 Heavy, Lisbon Tower, runway 02, wind 080 at 8, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 02, clear for takeoff, Emirates 1904 Heavy. Okay, the approach area is clear.
Approaching,
Right side is clear.
02.
Are you ready? Probably yes. Okay, so weather is absolutely no issue. Wind shear isn't expected either, so we can just leave the weather radar off. Good.
On runway,
Ready?
02.
Takeoff. Thrust set.
80 knots.
Checked.
V1.
Rotate. Positive rate of climb.
You're up. $400.
Emirates 1904, contact departure on 125.13.
125.13, Emirates 1904. Lisbon departure, Emirates 194 Heavy, passing 2,200, climbing 5,000.
Emirates 1904 Heavy, Lisbon departure, identified, climb flight level 050.
Climbing level 050, Emirates 194. This is not a flight level in your country. Well, actually it is. Transition 4,000. Okay, my mistake. Autopilot.
Emirates 1904, climb flight level 200.
Emirates 1904, climb flight level 200. Set. 200 checked. Alright. Acceleration altitude, finally. We met the 3000 restriction, even though barely just. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. So our engines are in climb thrust, then we don't need that timer anymore. We do have the elapsed timer running down here on our PFD. And flaps up. Speed checked. Flaps up. Okay, set standard. standard thrust check, passing flight level 40 now. And the flaps are up. After takeoff checklist. After takeoff checklist complete. Alright, so up and on the way. A little bit close to the upspeed for my taste. Let's just add some 5 knots here. I don't really care if anyone complains that I fly faster than 250 here. Honestly, in the real world, they don't complain either, you know. If you're at a weight where the clean speed is so close to the 250 limit, just give yourself a couple knots margin. Because getting below the clean speed in clean configuration is just never a good thing. And honestly, 5 knots, who cares, really?
Emirates 1904 Heavy, climb and maintain flight level 240.
Emirates 1904 Heavy, climb and maintain level 240. Set, 240 checked. So, we're really not climbing that well either. And we're still 50 tons below the max takeoff weight. I mean, yes, we are using a climb derailleur as well, gotta be fair enough, but you get where I'm going with this. So, let's see. Recommended 320, optimum 319, maximum 330. That looks quite good. Step climb in 228 miles. Well, in half an hour, that's fine. Okay. So, level 320 is confirmed then. Quite amazing. We are actually taming that 300 ER. Alright, so there isn't really much we can do. Estimated time of arrival 0357. Schedule is 0405. That's actually okay. So we are arriving right on time, and that's of course still assuming that we are going to fly the entire transition, so we can just keep our cost index, keep the speed, and everything will be good. Alright, level 100. Lights are going off, signs, auto, and the entire rest is already done. Lovely, then let's log on to CPDLC. So what's their ident here?
Thank you for your attention, and we hope you have a wonderful flight with Emirates Flight 194.
Lima Papa Papa Charlie. Well, and I think we can just log on to Madrid. Lima, what's it? Not written anywhere, please. Lima Echo Charlie Mike.
Emirates 1904 Heavy, climb and maintain flight level 280.
Emirates 1904, climb maintain level 280. Set, 280 checked. Okay, so Emirates 194, Lisbon to Dubai, Lima Echo Charlie Mike. Sent. And sent. Alright then guys, that's everything I can offer you for now. Enjoy the lovely lights passing by, enjoy the sunrise close to Saudi Arabia, and then I see you on approach into Dubai.
194 morning, maintaining flight level 120.
Emirates 194 Heavy, Minhad approach, identified. Doru, Dubai, QNH 9905. Expect the ILS, runway 30 left approach into Dubai.
Expecting the ILS runway 30 left approach into Dubai. Dubai QNH 995, Emirates 194 Heavy.
Well, you've heard it. QNH 9905, ILS runway 30 left, and we are coming along pretty nicely for our approach into Dubai. We've just overflown VTEP. We are cleared for the VTEP for Charlie arrival. Losing a little bit of speed here, which I will just let the airplane do. And, well, with all of that out of the way, let's have a very quick look into the arrival that we are going to fly. So, starting with the star, the VTEP for Charlie is a fairly easy one. We have a couple of restrictions, and it's basically just following all along the star until we eventually end up on the final approach. Shortcut can definitely be expected from about Yoke onwards, and then we're going to fly the ILS approach runway 30 left. Again, easy approach, starting in modus 2003 degrees, minimum 260, which is set, and that's everything we gotta know about that one. Now finally we are going to have a look into our airport chart, and we are going to vacate somewhere to the left hand side and parking somewhere down here. Not sure if it's going to be Concourse B or Concourse C just yet, but it's going to be either one of the two. Well, and that's all I really have to say about this. The rest of it is going to be covered in the approach briefing, so let's just go right into that, please. So, minimum safe altitude, 3,800, arriving in Dubai, VTEP for Charlie arrival, and we have an ILS approach runway 30 left, minimum 260, and in case of go-around, straight at Delta Bravo 707, left onto Agnot, climbing 3000. Extra fuel and time, let's have a quick look down here. We're landing with 11.1 and 6.5 is required. That gives us about half an hour of extra fuel, so pretty much exactly what we had already planned for on the ground and during our setup stages. Alright, thanks for that. So we are going to fly flight director guided ILS approach flaps 30 due to the outside temperature, which is 39 degrees down in Dubai. Auto brakes 3 to vacate the runway to the left hand side with maximum reverse to keep the brakes as cool as possible. I don't have anything special or non-standard. Do you see any threats? No? Lovely, so that's our approach briefing completed. Well, we're approaching 10,000, so we would have done the PA long ago, but let's just say a quick bye-bye to our guests, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen from Flatic, this is your captain speaking. We've started our descent towards Dubai and we will be landing in about 10 minutes. You can already see Dubai coming up on the right hand side, including the famous World Islands, and if you look straight from here across the world to the shoreline, then you will also find the Burj Al Arab. We hope that you have all enjoyed your stay on board our Boeing 777 and look forward to welcoming you again on board a future flight. But for now, enjoy your stay in Dubai, and if applicable, we wish you a nice and safe continuous journey. Thank you very much for your attention, and we hope to see you again soon. Alright, passing 10,000, lights on, signs on, and we have cross-checked the QNH. Approach checklist, please. Altimeters, QNH 9905, set left, set right, approach checklist complete. Alright, that's as easy as these things can get. Always just a wonderful view, Dubai. You can clearly see the airport over here, and already see the first couple of skyscrapers. Now, this is the point where it would really be nice if the where it would just really be nice
Emirates
if
194,
those buildings
descent
spawned a bit
altitude
earlier.
7000, QNH 9905.
Descending to altitude 7000, QNH 995, Emirates 194.
Alright, set 7000 checked. Previously we just had a clearance to descend via the arrival, so I had set 7000. It's a coincidence that we're getting the very same altitude right now. Basically, I'm using 7000 because of the Delta Bravo 530 7000 or below restriction along the arrival. Okay, cabin ready. So, since it doesn't look like there's much traffic at the moment, once we're past Pettit, and once we get clearance to a lower altitude, we can just continue our descent a little bit quicker, and then we should be able to make it to like an 8-mile final or something the likes. As long as we don't turn over the city, we can get an early inbound turn very early over here. Okay. Yep, that's what I'm looking for. Perhaps we just go over to the other side. Now look at this. There's the Bush Al Arab down there. The world, the palm, and the harbor. So you can't really see much of our engine or wing here, sitting a little bit too far in the front. But that's why it's so nice and quiet. Okay, so flaps 1, speed checked. Flaps 1. One of those Boeing 777 problems, it doesn't protect you against going under the flap reference speeds. The 737 was a little bit nicer in that regard. It would have protected us, but, well. So, vertical speed, 1000 to go. This restriction is 7000 or below, so we don't need to abide VNAV. That would be, you know, trying to descend a little bit smoother here. Okay. So, Sharjah on the left. The weather at the airport is confirmed CAV okay. Perhaps a little bit hot for my taste. 40 something degrees. Out. With those super long-bodied aircrafts like the 777, I think it just looks really cool. If you see the pitch here, it just really looks like the airplane is climbing while you're actually just maintaining altitude. But now see it from the front, you can see all of a sudden the plane has a huge cross-section. That's got to be a lot of drag. It is very nice to see that PMDG are simulating a proper pitch, by the way. It's something that, you know, the A330 would have a pitch like this as well. Contrary to what we see in the Inibuild model. For some pilots, this is actually a reason to extend flaps 5, just to get the pitch down a little bit, because, well, it kind of looks strange when you're sitting inside the plane, especially in the back, and then you're just looking, you know, 60 meters uphill. My ATC.
G'day, Emmanuel. Just a reminder, I'm here for the comms once you hand them over.
Yeah, and I'm taking the comms back right now, thank you.
No worries, mate. You've got the comms.
Thanks. Emirates 194, how many track miles can we expect?
Emirates 1904, track miles remaining 56.
That is the entire arrival. No, I don't see that happening. Emirates 194, request further descent.
Emirates 1904, descend altitude 5,000 feet.
Descent altitude 5,000 feet, Emirates 194. Emirates 194 is ready for the base turn.
Emirates 1904, turn left heading 090 for base leg.
Turn left, heading 090, Emirates 194. Okay, we'll extend the center line from Seppo. Execute. I'm sure he's going to turn us right soon. Vertical speed. I think the reason he's turning us to the left is because the downwind is just 4 miles from the final, and he's probably calculating that at this speed we would need a little bit of a base. So that's why he's turning us left, because otherwise we couldn't do the turn radius. But let's see about it. Should get a right-hand turn any moment then. It's gonna be interesting to see if my theory is correct, or if he will just vector us here for eternity now. I don't think he will. Or perhaps we need to reach 5,000 first. Maybe he has other traffic, which I don't think. Alt. Emirates 194, when can we expect the right-hand turn?
Emirates 1904, expect right turn in 3 miles.
Thank you. Okay, well that's a statement I can work with.
Emirates 1904, you're welcome.
For a moment I was about to turn the heading back already when he said our call sign. Good thing I didn't do that. Oh man, the sun is shining right into our eyes. So come on, we've flown 3 miles. At 22 miles to final already. Quite incredible. Now this is definitely something that I will have to bring up with the developers. It's like the second or third time that Saint Engines is vectoring us onto such a long final for no apparent reason. If there was traffic nearby, no worries at all, but we know that there is no traffic because we haven't activated that feature. So there is no reason for him to vector us like 25 miles out for nothing. Well, let's actually accelerate this one a little bit. Okay, here we are. It just took an eternity, but we are in Montesappo, we're down at the platform, and we're cleared for the ILS. So, everything is set, and then we can start to reduce to our final approach profile. So, flaps 5 please. So
Emirates
190.
194, contact Dubai Tower on 118.75.
118.75, Emirates 194. Dubai Tower, Emirates 194 heavy, ILS 30 left. Lock.
Emirates 1904 heavy, Dubai Tower, wind 295 at 12. Runway 30 left, clear to land.
Runway 30 left, clear to land, Emirates 194. Okay, cool. We have landing clearance, the cabin is ready, everyone's seated. Then we have a speed restriction of 160 until 40 UNI, which we'll obey in a few moments. I just don't want to slow down too quickly here. And manual flight. Glide slope alive. Flaps 15. Gear down, flaps 20. Flaps 30. Glide slope capture. Speed 160 until 4 miles. Go around altitude 3000 set. Okay, cool. So waiting for the flaps to complete their extension, which is now. Landing checklist. Landing checklist complete. And it's a not Nestle. Not Leslie. Okay. So we are within 4 miles, set VRF plus 5, and we're stabilized at 1000. Nice. Okay, so that's the runway. Temperature 40 degrees. That means the plane
Approaching
might
3,
flare a
0
little bit worse
left.
than it usually does. So let's make sure that we flare at the correct height.
500.
And then depending on the touchdown we may use some manual braking or not. I would prefer not to, just because it's so hot outside. But we're gonna do what's necessary to get the exit. After all, the plane has some 4 hours turnaround
Plus
anyway.
100. Minimums.
Continue.
$100.
You could clearly feel
50,
the
40, 30,
ground effect.
20, 10.
Speed brake up, thrust was normal. .100 knots. 80 knots.
1,500 meters
60
remaining.
knots, manual brakes.
1,200 remaining.
Emirates 1904. Welcome to Dubai. Contact ground on 118.355.
118.355, Emirates 194. Dubai ground, Emirates 194, runway vacated, request taxi to gate Bravo 4. Okay, stop here please. Is he not talking to us? Dubai ground, Emirates 194, request taxi to gate Bravo 4. Is he not talking?
Emirates 1904.
Here we go.
Taxi to gate Bravo 4 via Kilo 8, Kilo Whiskey Uniform. Have a good day.
Taxi to gate Bravo 4 via Kilo 8, Kilo Whiskey Uniform, Emirates 194. Okay, lovely. So, Kilo 8, Kilo, Whiskey and Uniform. So, Whiskey comes here, next to the left. Taxiing rather quick, gotta admit that. Alright, so Bravo 4, let's call for GSX, which is of course not working again, because why would it? This piece of software. Restarting Throttle in the background. Okay, so let's try again. GSX, Bravo 4. No follow me needed, thank you very much. Alright, once we're past here, we're going to start the APU. Just really don't want to start it too early. Gotta reduce our cost a little bit after all. And we've had 3 minutes, so shut down right engine. Okay, starting APU. Single engine taxi is standard procedure in a 777. That's absolutely normal. And as you can see, it's holding its speed pretty nicely. It's only when you're entering turns, then you gotta be a little bit careful what you do with your single engine taxi, but since we only have one turn left, that's not gonna be an issue. Okay, and of course, now that's Bravo 5, okay. For a short moment I was about to say, is that static exactly on our gate? It doesn't look like it. Bravo 4 is just next to this A380. Alright, lights off. APU starting. So, Bravo 4, here it is. So lights are off, weather radar is off. 777 whiskey is confirmed. So a couple meters to go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. Okay, park and brake set, and APU is confirmed running. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Okay, the engine is running down. So transponder 2000 standby, and what else is there? Just the beacon. Shutdown checklist, park and brake, set, shutdown checklist complete. So let's have a look at the gear page. Temperature is up to 0.9. Okay, that's fine. Those scales are actually just indexes, they don't represent any actual temperature, but 0.9, no problem at all. Alright, then let's go ahead and call for deboarding, please. And while that's in progress, we're gonna go down here into the ground ops, connect the chocks, the ground power unit, and the air conditioning unit, please. So that's all confirmed. Then ground services. Well, we don't need anything over here. That's all going to be GSX. Disarm the doors. Open 1 left, open 2 left, and they're doing the cargo doors on their own. Wonderful. The chocks are confirmed in position. Park and brake is released. Well, and then not much more to do, huh? So, thank you very much for flying along, everyone. I do hope you all enjoyed the flight. A little blunder by our air traffic control here, but look at that, 0405. And the schedule, 0405. We're exactly on time. Love to see it. So, thank you very much, everyone, for flying along. I do hope you guys enjoyed the flight as much as I did. I surely had a blast. Except for that little strange approach vector, I think St. Tensions has done quite a good job as well. So with all of that out of the way, thank you very much for watching. As always, like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.